what's going on, everybody? We're back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It's me, Clark Taylor, as your host, and my good buddy, host of Take It to the Table, Mr. Chaos. How are you, my friend?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening and good salutations to everybody. I am good. I'm all good and well. It is Wednesday. You know what that means. Let's get straight into it.
I love it. I love it. And before we do, I just got to ask you, did you sneak that Converse shirt in at the Converse store when we were there in St. Clemente? I
Maybe.
thought we skipped. I thought we skipped buying at Converse. I didn't see that. I dig it. No, I love it.
It was thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no, but let's get right into it. I didn't even see you buy that. I'm like, I was there. But not the point.
I'm the special. I got a plug in Converse. No, I'm joking. I ain't got no plug.
There you go. There you go. Well, whatever. You are the plug at Converse. But we've got let's start with MJF's deleted tweet, which was interesting. Yeah. So I don't necessarily even really know why he deleted it, but I'll go ahead and read it. It's the more wrestling fans become bloodthirsty for these dangerous feats in the ring, the more the wrestlers will hurt themselves trying to curry fans' favor. Wrestlers, the fans, don't understand that at any given point, we can be paralyzed from the neck down or even die from a maneuver as simple as a body slam. By the way, fans reading this, body slams hurt. Every move hurts. They'll keep moving the goalposts of what they deem is good. So before you do something stupid, consider this tweet about your banger. Gonna pay for your medical bills? ? Do the right thing. Go in that ring with the intention of winning the match and leaving the ring the same way you entered it. So, I mean, there's a lot to digest here on this one, I think. And it's one of those things where I don't see a problem with what he said because it's almost in half kayfabe in my eyes. But Chaos, how do you feel about it in general?
I mean, he spoke straight facts. There's no real two ways about it. I'm more curious about is what made him come out with that. And then, I guess in a way I can understand why he deleted it because I don't know, you could say it's his character, but you can also say it's not. But yeah, something obviously happened back like internally for him to just completely just go on a extreme, like a serious rant. Where it's true, like a lot of the fan base, especially in wrestling, they are very fickle and enough is never enough for fans. And it's and especially these days, it takes now a lot more than ever to really appease or try to win fans over. And the only way to do it is to do some crazy stuff. And if I'm regarding with the another guest and fellow guest on Take It to the Table, Ignacio, I can kind of see his opinion with the flippy doodahs, happening too much. And obviously I don't agree with him all the way with that. But we've seen so many instances recently, especially in both AEW and unfortunately ROH, where doing the crazy flippy doodahs unfortunately caused serious injury. I mean, the most recent one was unfortunately Dante Martin, and that was an amazing match. Not just full of flips and spots. There was a lot of technical spots in there as well. But unfortunately, that kind of marred the quality of that match. And more of these instances unfortunately happen more in other promotions more than WWE. But yeah, it is a serious factor. We need to appreciate these wrestlers more because they are putting their bodies on the line. It's such a risk where we're literally watching something live and then something bad can go wrong at any given moment, and that could be the last time we see them there, either for a long time, maybe ever.
100%. I mean, I think the perfect example recently, Chaos, is Randy Orton. Randy Orton, the MO was that his style would set him up for longevity. Yeah. He was going to be around forever. That he's even talked about. That's going to be his legacy, is that he was there the longest, spent his whole career in WWE and everything. Well, yeah. Randy got hurt. bad enough that we haven't seen him in, long term injury. And so, and I like where you're coming from on because I'm with you on, I also hear Ignacio's gripes about the flippy doodads, but I hear it more from the injury standpoint than I think I do the entertainment standpoint.
Yeah.
For entertainment value, the athleticism is just off the charts, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the, like in any sport, the NBA dunk contest is kind of stale now because all of the big cool dunks have been done. But in wrestling, all of the crazy moves, right? Like, Reggie, now Scripps, as bad as that gimmick is, he came from Cirque du Soleil. That's like a unbelievable level of acrobatic athleticism, right? So, that's somebody you could trust to do flippy doodah, as Ignacio likes to say.
And even the other people, that I thought we saw it all. I saw it all like when Dante Martin came onto the scene, but now you got Commander and Vikingo. They have brought another next gen level of lucha libre athleticism out of nowhere, and now they are my top. I feel like they are better than Dante Martin in a way. So
I laugh. I'm like, we talk about all these guys that do that, and we always forget. I'm like, I think Ray Phoenix might be the best of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I just had to add that in. But anyway, I didn't want to cut you off there. But
no,
like, there's so many good wrestlers that can wrestle that style. And I think there's a difference between the lucha libre and the flippy doodah-ness.
Oh yeah, of course.
I will say Dante Martin is one of my, people just can't do that vertical leap wise. Like, I want to see him do like a celebrity dunk contest, because I couldn't imagine the aerial stuff he could do dunking a basketball. And I know he can, given I've seen him jump over people 6'7".
Yeah.
Like, that dude could probably dunk it over a car if he wanted to.
Yes.
And that would be fun to see for sure. Yeah, I do think MJF though makes a great point here. Now, him using the word banger, I think that's just MJF kind of trying to ruffle feathers. That's where I look at this and think, yeah, there's a lot of truth there, but there's also a lot of MJF character there. I'm smarter than everybody else. Do it my way, right? There's no room for anything but this. That's who a narcissist like MJF is, right? He my way is the only way, and the best way. And I like some of that, given that the two opponents. That's the other part of him deleting the tweet that bothered me, is given the two potential opponents that we will talk about the main event later in the show, right? You can both put them in that reckless category. You absolutely can. And that's where I thought the tweet, for storytelling's sake, and the fact that we're talking about it, is one of the best parts. And it's funny because even I felt guilty about it. Like, I was quick to overlook that. I thought more about like, oh, that's just an insightful tweet, like kind of the discussion that you and I just had out of the gate for the first 5 minutes. Like, that's where my head went. But if it's storyline related, like, I'm like, maybe that was the mass reaction. Maybe that is the reason he deleted it. I don't want to recklessly speculate on why he deleted it, but that's the part that throws me for a loop. You know?
Yeah. It's to be fair, I didn't really feel, I didn't realize until you actually mentioned it as well. It goes perfectly with Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. Darby Allin more so, if anything.
But even Sammy in those ladder matches, man, right?
Yeah, Sammy Guevara in his crazy sets, ladder matches. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I think was it a 650 splash, and it looked like he just went splat, like he kind of got it, but it was brutal as hell. But yeah, Darby Allin is very reckless. I mean, I'll never forget with it. I think he got kicked down literally hard concrete flat stairs, and I'm just like, you can't pad that. But yeah, I mean, I'm even looking because someone actually screenshotted he did a reply to someone. Someone was saying obviously all that stuff, and he's like, someone replied to him saying, Max, show us proof you could do that. And then he replied saying that I can literally do the Commander rope walk, a 450, a Fosbury flop, an Asia moonsault, a Phoenix splash, a tope, all that bullshit that doesn't win you a match, which is why I did it once, laughed at people who thought it was impressive, and went back to learning the actual craft. So yeah, MJF is actually capable of doing all this crazy stuff. But
I believe it too. He's an underrated athlete. I bet he could do all that stuff. I don't think that's BS or character. I think that was
I believe him as well.
Right? I think that was Max more than it was MJF. Even there talking, he was like, whoa, you don't realize I'm that good of an athlete. It was like, hey, everyone chill out. But I mean, it's a complete I think it's a brilliant tweet. It got us talking about it. I really liked it, but let's move on because we got a sick list of topics, and the next one's kind of same line of thinking here, more speculation. We got the Tony Khan announcement tonight. And I want to get, what is your prediction? What is he announcing tonight, Chaos?
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be anything major because this wasn't even made. This is not being classed as an announcement. It just says we'll hear from Tony Khan. Usually, obviously, there's usually a difference between we'll hear from Tony Khan, and there's a big split. There's going to be he has a huge announcement. I feel like I've read online, like on Reddit, even though you really shouldn't be following everything on there, but Reddit, Twitter, and all that. And usually, anytime they say something about we'll hear from this person, it most likely leads to an interruption or an interference from something. Like when we're going to hear from FTR, then it was the Guns that actually interfered. When there's anything, we'll hear from someone backstage. All of a sudden, the cameras rush back because someone got attacked or someone's in a medical facility. All this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm not really too far reading too much into that. I don't think it's going to be an announcement of any major sorts. I think it's something very minor. Maybe saying All Access is going to be at a special start time next week. I don't know, but or it could be just a reminder about All In, the pre-sale as well for the London fans. But I'm not going to read too far into it. I don't think it's going to be anything major. It's just going to be something minor.
Okay, I love though. I've got like 3 different things from there that I got to address. First, I loved I didn't even consider, you're so right on, spot on the, when we hear from someone, it's almost always interrupted or muddied or like one of those type of segments. It's funny because Tony's always talked about not really being a true on-screen character. Like he'll be on screen occasionally, but he's not a character.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny if this is the way you introduce that all of a sudden. Right? And now it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Now's the time. I wouldn't mind if that's how it went down. I agree with you on, though. I wouldn't look too far into it. I was going to personally say potential announcement for the Saturday show. We do know about the trademarks for Collision, but at the end of the day, I, like you said, I agree with you on, I don't think that, given it's just we'll hear from and not major announcement, the biggest announcement of all time, everybody's favorite announcement ever, most important announcement in the history of the universe, whatever it's going to be next time. I don't know how you keep upping the ante, but they might. Either way, that is a great call. I wonder if I think out of all of that, though, you slipped it in at the last second. Reminder about the All In pre-sale.
Yeah,
that adds up.
Probably give the stats about how many people signed up for it, all that kind of stuff. Maybe the pricings and whatnot, and then I think that's what's probably gonna be that.
And maybe somebody standing next to him.
Maybe.
I don't know who, but somebody that is like gonna be on the card for sure. Or maybe even like somebody that would kind of pop the UK fan base. Like, I don't know, right? I don't know exactly who that would be off the top of my head on the roster, but
I couldn't tell.
There's got to be somebody, maybe Nigel McGuinness.
Drew McIntyre. No, I'm joking.
Drew McIntyre would have been great if it was possible. Okay, wait, Numero 1 Superfly with the comment here. He's got a prediction: Tony Khan's announcement. Either he reveals the exact date for AEW's video game.
Oh, that would be so good.
Talk about his newly grown mustache. I would be hyped about the video game if he's got a newly grown mustache, given his father Shad's curling mustache. I'm going to say it's the one spot he could most quickly beat Vince McMahon to the punch. If
Oh
he
yeah,
goes
the meme game will be
curly,
crazy.
if he goes curly stash like Shad, I will be really happy about that move. That
You're
is
just twirling on it before he
yes,
makes some announcements and stuff.
every time. Oh, he has to be outstanding. We need it. But either way, yeah, I don't know exactly what, because to your point, the "we'll hear from" isn't an announcement.
No,
That's
that's what I'm
totally
saying.
different. The phrasing is different. I'm I'm not totally sure. I mean, it
And there's
really,
quite a few. There's quite a few we'll hear froms as well. Quite a few people are. We're going to say we're going to hear from this. I think there's like three segments, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. I believe there actually are 3 total.
Yeah. I'm just double checking myself,
Check
but
them out.
yeah.
Check them out. Yeah, there's multiple we'll hear froms.
Yeah, we'll hear from Wardlow and Arn Anderson. We'll hear
Yeah.
from Adam Cole. We'll hear from Tony Khan. Yeah, like
Okay,
there's
let's
really a
let's
difference.
talk about the Wardlow one though with Arn, because I don't get this either. We talked about Hobbs. We talked about that match last week. Last time I think you and I were on together, we were talking about it, or one of the last times.
Yeah.
I said, well, Hobbs has the best spine buster since Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Why does Arn manage Wardlow and not have Wardlow deliver a spine buster on Hobbs at the very least? Or the other way around? That's so easy to tell that story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I thought that was a complete whiff. Maybe, and this is what I'm hoping for, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Maybe tonight's the night Will Hobbs comes out and spine busters both.
I mean, if Arn Anderson is able to do that, then fair enough. I mean, you got like you got is you know, Arn Anderson is like glass, unfortunately. So you gotta be, if he's able to do it, then fair enough. But yeah, I still don't agree that Wardlow needed the TNT title. It's you know, ever since everyone knows that since Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara had that feud, it's gone down the pisser. And the value of that title, no matter if it is a TV title or whatnot, it's the value of it is completely gone down the drain. I felt like Hobbs had a lot more to give. He only had like one-off pointless matches for the title on Rampage that no one was really fearing that he was going to possibly lose it to. Wardlow, I feel like he needs to move away from the mid-card titles and go for the big one. You know, especially when the history is there for. I mean, he'll be perfect after Double or Nothing to go for the big title if MJF retains, which he should. And then that would just carry on from their previous history together. But and then obviously when that finishes, that's when CM Punk comes out, and then obviously, you know, I think that's what that they could have done it from through that. But yeah, maybe I'm cool with your theory. I'm not expecting much from this segment though, but yeah, I agree. Or Anderson should have teamed up with Hobbs, if anything, and then to go taking it that gone that route. But yeah,
it just makes way more sense, right? Like you have the guy that has well known, arguably the greatest spine buster of all time, at least top 3, right?
Yeah.
And that's like what he's known for, like the Arn Anderson spine buster. And he'd hit it in WCW when his body was already glass, right? By the end of his career, he'd still at least go out and hit a spine buster. If he could possibly take one, it doesn't even have to look violent, because they can make the Wardlow one look violent. But if he does, the reaction in the booth, I think, to the, he just spine bustered a 68-year-old man or whatever, right? Like, that might ignite this feud for me a little bit. I completely agree with you there about Wardlow going for the big title. It makes no sense. He's the last guy to beat MJF clean.
Exactly.
Let's run it for sure. And not only did he beat him clean, he basically squashed him.
Yeah, he squashed him.
He basically 100%. Squashed him in Vegas, no less. So I mean, yeah, I think you're spot on with that too. We're on the same page there. And it's a shame for Hobbs, because I think Hobbs deserves better. He's
100%.
Such a talent. I really think so.
That way to go in from now, like, I feel like I got a feeling that he's probably not going to go try get that title anymore. I think that's just done and dusted, and now he's just going to be back squashing people. It makes no sense. And like, Like there's nothing else for him to go for. I mean, they should have given him more time. Having it for a month is not good enough in my eyes. He deserves way more. So yeah, we'll see
I
what happens.
completely agree. And I think part of the problem is honestly, if you look at like the big guys in AEW, they all wrestle each other. So
Yeah,
it's almost impossible to book a dominant one.
and the thing
Because
is,
it's always just a slugfest between two huge dudes.
yeah, and I feel like that's what the TNT title has become. It's only been surrounded by the big beefy guys, Samoa Joe, Wardlow, Hobbs. I guess the slight exception is Darby Allin, but he only had it for a couple of weeks, and he got to give it back to Joe.
Well, it's funny that like it went in phases. It was like you had the Brody Lee Cody era, and then it's like you had the little guys era with Sammy, Darby, and and
Yeah,
and I
like
guess Scorpio would be like mid-sized, and then it was like actually we need to put some big guys on this title. How is Wardlow a 3-time champion? To your point, too. Like,
yeah,
that means he lost the belt 3 times.
It's like it's going for that Charlotte phase. It's weird. I don't like it. I absolutely don't like it.
They're just padding stats. They're like Cody can't have the most reigns.
Yeah,
like Wardlow's gotta tie him.
They really are trying to eradicate Cody from AEW, and it's kind of shocking. It's weird.
It's weird. That dynamic is weird because Stark still gets pushed. His guys, QT Marshall's still all over television, which makes even less sense to me. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. It's like I don't know, but either way, let's move on to the actually I think the proper of the 2 television titles, the TBS title, which they've booked well. They have they have the Amazon dominant champion woman, the Goldberg of the women's division, Jade Cargill. And she does look like an unbeatable monster. I'm like, that title in my eyes, not just because of the length of the reign necessarily over I don't think that is like the end all be all, but I view that one as a bigger deal than the women's world title. I just, if you put Jade Cargill on a poster against Jamie Hayter, I love Jamie Hayter as a talent. Jade Cargill's going to win that match. She should. That's the way she's been booked. She's an unbeatable, unstoppable force. I love that Taya has, I think physically she's one of the first opponents that Jade's had outside of maybe Nyla Rose that's standing eye to eye, can match the physicality to an extent. At least you can wrap your head around, oh, she's probably strong and athletic enough to go toe to toe with Jade.
Yeah.
The question, I guess, is, does Jade lose the title tonight? I can let you go first, but I'll tell you right now, my answer is no. And then I'm going to let you go.
No, that's cool. I totally agree. I don't feel like Taya is a viable threat simply because the story has not been that interesting to me. Not to say that because it's not interesting to me, like, you shouldn't win, but yeah, as much as I like Taya Valkyrie, and I feel like she got done dirty by WWE. She told the story about the reason that she left, and she got done dirty. But because she has so much to give, and I do like her as a wrestler. But yeah, I don't think that she is the viable choice to take the title from as even though she is a household name. But yeah, I don't feel like she should take it away, and I don't feel like Chris Statlander should take it away because I don't get the hype. I mean, she's cool and all, but I still don't think she's the right person to even take the title from her. And they are slow. This is turning into a Roman Reigns situation where there's no one else, but there's other people that she hasn't faced that could be a viable third person, like Serena Deeb. She hasn't faced Serena Deeb. That would be a perfect person to probably say, yes, maybe she could be the one.
That would be what I'm saying?
But they have had no interaction. There's numerous people. She hasn't gone for Britt Baker hasn't gone for the TBS title. Why not? If she's afraid to go for the AEW Women's Championship, why can't she go for the TBS? It's weird. There's a whole slew of other people she hasn't gone for. Rio, flipping. It's really odd. But yeah, I don't feel like Valkyrie should be the person to.
I do think I think she actually squashed Rio early. Don't quote me on that, but okay. I do think she did squash Rio.
Fair enough.
That was like one of the first ones, I believe. But to your point, I agree. There's so many choices. I like the idea of, I mean, I want to figure out, and I'm a huge fan of her. I listen to her on Busted Open all the time. What's up with Thunder Rosa? I really like Rosa. I think she was awesome in both of her matches with Britt Baker. Were
Oh yeah,
were outstanding. They were.
yeah.
The lights out match was awesome, and the cage match was underrated. The cage match was
Mm,
really, really good.
yeah,
It was with the thumbtacks and everything.
yeah,
And Thunder's a legit, I mean, during the pandemic when she didn't have any book wrestling, she just picked up MMA and had 2 professional fights. That's pretty cool. And
very
then
cool.
got the gig with AEW. Like, I'm a big Thunder Rosa fan. She might be the one with the fighting spirit, the attitude, the baby face that could challenge Jade. But outside of that, Deeb, I think, is a great choice. The problem is, how do you book Serena Deeb as a baby face challenging Jade?
Uh,
Right?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes depending on how it's done, you can still go with the heel/heel dynamic, or she could be a tweener.
Yeah,
Still, I'd still want her to have this mean streak that she's got going on as the professor kind of thing. But she could be an anti-hero type of tweener thing if they book it right. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it doesn't have to be direct babyface. I don't want babyface Serena Deeb. This one that she has now, being as a tweener anti-hero, would work wonders, 110%. And yeah, with that mean streak, she could
I like that.
definitely, with her expertise, she could definitely take down Cargill for down a notch or two. And then once she gets that realization, she goes away for a couple months, maybe go do some indie shows, maybe go to New Japan, get that, get that experience. Talk about Jade Cargill. And then she comes back more re-energized, more refocused. They have that rematch, and then she might either go back for that title or go on up, go for the AEW Women's Championship. So that's how I would go for it.
Almost like a wrestling machine, Kurt Angle. Remember when he went
Yes.
to the wrestling machine gimmick with the mouthpiece right before he left for TNA? Yes, that was awesome. He was dead serious, and he was like a tweener almost, but I actually think it was the most over he ever was as a face, was during that phase. Like with the fan base. I mean, remember they were chanting Kurt Angle's history with ECW, if you actually look at it, was like he was the reason Raven had to apologize for the Sandman. I mean, which he probably should have anyway, but for the Sandman crucifixion spot. Right? That was Kurt. And then he was like, I'll never work with them again. They put him on the new relaunch brand. And at One Night Stand, put him against Randy Orton. And the ECW fans are embracing Kurt Angle like he's an original.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like that. I mean, that was nobody was you sucking on that entrance at all.
Yeah.
Right? There was none of that. It was just for Deeb, I think something like that, like really leaning into her submission and grappling acumen and intensity level as a tweener, and being like, yeah, she still has the edge like she does now as a heel, but she's not quite as like I would say petty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that you hit that perfect happy medium, and I really like that for Serena Deeb. That's a good call. So let's move on to the next one, though, which is Orange Cassidy versus Bandito. And it's funny because you and I started the show, not started, but we were talking about Vikingo and all of the Dante Martin, all of the acrobatics.
Yeah.
We never once mentioned Bandito. Poor guy's been overlooked. He's as good as anybody at all of the lucha stuff and has looked great in the ring, made Jericho look as good as Jericho's looked bell to bell in that Ring of Honor title defense during the Ocho period of time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the time for him to take the title off Orange Cassidy, but speaking of weird title reigns, I really like Orange Cassidy. He cracks me up. He's like the slacker in high school that nobody really knows who he is, but he's got like 2 best buddies that are regular people, like Trent and Chuck Taylor. But then like if somebody picks on him, he punches them in the face, and it's like, oh whoa, don't mess with that kid. The quiet guy, like don't do that.
Yeah.
I just dig the gimmick with the backpack and the jean jacket. Like he just does his own thing, wears the shades, doesn't care.
Yeah.
But then until he does, right? And so I actually really do like Orange, as much criticism as he gets. I don't necessarily personally think Bandito is the guy to take the title.
Yeah.
but who is? I don't know. Do you think it's Bandito, or do you have any idea?
Nah, I don't think it's Bandito. See, the thing is, I feel so bad for that title, and no, in fact, I don't even feel bad for the title. I just feel bad for the person that held it before him, which was Pac, because that title has pretty much got Enzo Amore. You know, Pac was the most serious. You know, he brought prestige to the Cruiserweight Championship, and then they gave it to Enzo because it's Enzo and he's the most over, and it became a joke title. Same, it's pretty much almost come around again with this All Atlantic Championship. He went literally around the world, defended it at Rev Pro, all these other places, ICW, I think, and all that, and then loses it to Orange Cassidy, and it's practically a joke title just simply because it's Orange Cassidy. Not to say that I don't like him. I love Orange Cassidy, especially when he gets more intense. Like, my favorite match right now still is him against Will Ospreay. Probably one of his best. No, that and the triple threat match was, it was him, Kenny Omega, and funny enough, Pac for the World Championship. Those two were my favorite, and I'm sure you agree because you obviously showing up here.
Oh, I had to pull myself back up. That triple threat match is one of my favorite AEW matches of all time. That sold me on Orange Cassidy. I was like, dude, this guy can actually go.
100%.
If he has, he's like a gymnast. Speaking of flippy guys, the brilliance of him to me is he's able to go from so slow to so fast. And it's like, yeah, like you can talk about explosiveness as far as athleticism is concerned, but the way he does it is like kind of unlike anyone else, because he'll be in bad posture and out of position. And then like jump into something that you're like, I loved in his last defense, the missed orange punch.
Yes.
That was it was a smart spot. And it's very easy to overlook his talent because sweet shin music, as I like to call it, when he does the shin taps. That bugs people. And I get that. But I mean, also one of my favorite orange spots of all time, I don't know if you remember this, but and I believe this was actually during the pandemic, so it would have been 2020 Double or Nothing. In the casino ladder match, the whole ring cleared out and there was no ladders in the ring. Cassidy was the only one standing, and he walked in and he just stood up on his tiptoes and reached for the belt.
I remember that.
Because he was like too lazy to put a ladder up. It just got me so good. It was so funny.
He's good at that. He's good.
Those little things are just so clever, and like, there's something there, because I think it's funny. Like, we give Danhausen a pass, and he's a real comedy character. But then like Cassidy can show you the vicious side, but we don't give him a pass because is the comedy too good? That's, I guess, that's the real question. Is that the problem, you think? Is he too funny to actually let the serious stuff show properly?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think that all depends on the viewer. If it's a good balance or if it's too much, too little. I mean, for me, I feel like it's a decent balance. Like, he can turn it up and you know, like I said, I think the most serious I ever seen him in was against Will Ospreay. I feel like he definitely was his most serious for the longest period of time in that match, more than anything. But yeah, I don't think it's to the point where, I mean, it's still hella over regardless of what he does, no matter what, if he's serious or non-serious or funny, he's still hella over. So yeah, I think it all depends on the viewer, really, if how much they can tolerate.
I think so too. Yeah. I also think some of the indie stuff he did that was like really, really aggressively comedic, that still leaves a bad taste in, like, you know, in Superbad, Jonah Hill says people don't forget. I think he's got a little bit of that one that he's dealing with as well, where there's a few, I mean, even Kenny to an extent, right? Like, so he wrestled the broom once and Jim Cornette will hate him forever. Like, whatever, dude. Like, it was one-time thing. Like, people,
what are you doing to my Kenny?
Like, I didn't need to watch it. It was actually pretty impressive, though. I saw the highlights. The broom was working him over. He actually took a suplex from the broom. He did. That was the most impressive one to me. Oh man. But I mean, I don't know. It's funny though. On the other side of this match, Bandito, and I mean this with all due respect, how in the world does his mask stay on of all of the major?
I know.
I've never been able to.
It's not like a Rey Mysterio mask. Like it comes out, and it's just like, yeah, it does.
But it like there's no botches.
Adjust it or anything. It just stays there. It's crazy. So
I want to know like the locking mechanism. I want to know what happens there. Like that is one of.
It's something else. It is definitely something else, man.
Because like you can see the Penta mask at least is attached to the shirt he wears.
Yeah.
In the back. So that's how that one stays on with like and then he's got the chin strap as well. But like you said, the Bandito one's just like off, and then there's just the eyes, but it never moves. He never has to like, it's never like flipped up. You would think, right? Like it doesn't,
and it's like it doesn't even go down here. And sometimes it comes down to like his chest. So I'm just like, how do you take clotheslines? How do you take this? Like, how do you do it with that mask? It's very it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So yeah, give him more credit. I mean, even though I wouldn't put him up there with the Commandos or the Vikingos in terms of I don't see him do that flip like the Spot Fest or crazy flips like they do, but he is still good and he's still great in his own right. 110%. I've got nothing against Bandito. The only reason I wouldn't put him up there with the Vikingos and Commandos because he doesn't do as much as them. He's got more of a mixed bag more than they do. So that's why.
Yeah, I think also like Commander, what he does is crazy. Vikingo, I don't know if anyone can do what Vikingo does.
Yeah, like, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's like Olympic gymnast. Like, yeah, like you're like on another planet of athlete.
100%.
His moveset, I don't think if you downloaded a version of him in 2K, that they could do him justice with made up animations.
Yeah.
Like it would glitch the game.
That's a good point. I need to see if someone's actually made it.
He looks like a human video game. Like,
yes,
100%. If it was animated, you'd be like, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Watching some of the stuff he does. It's,
100%.
I mean, it's outlandish. I mean, don't get me wrong. Commander walking the ropes is amazing. I mean, we've seen Grand Metalik do it. We saw Undertaker do it.
The one thing I don't like about with Commander, I know he needs to do it, but it's understandable. But there's times where he takes too long to set up stuff. I mean, and I understand why he does it because that tightrope stuff ain't easy. Right. But there's so many times where it's like, especially when he does that, the one way like he walks across, jumps to the other one, and then does like a flip. But he just like it takes a while to balance himself out, and then obviously the person outside is just standing there like a plum, and I'm just like, that's the only gripe I have about it. But I'll give it a pass because it comes off beautiful. It comes off beautiful. So yeah,
I'm 100% with you. When the opponent looks like he's waiting.
Yeah, that's why I hate.
You're like, come on, be selling somehow. But I don't think that's really the opponent's fault. He probably was selling during the time it took to jump 5 different ways, you know. But let's move on to our final topic of the day. We're rolling through these, which is the main event of the evening: Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Winner faces MJF for Double or Nothing.
Oh, it's not Butcher and the Blade versus Omega and Takeshita. Oh my day, what a shame. Sorry.
No, it's well, wait. Actually, I don't even know necessarily on the card order, so don't quote me on that. Butcher and Blade.
It's most likely what you said.
But I think it's going to be Darby Sammy to face MJF for Double or Nothing. And so personally, I'll give my prediction first, then toss it to you, Chaos. I've got Darby winning this. I think they've set up for it the entire way. I'm interested to see if maybe there's some shenanigans in this match where MJF tries to manipulate things, Sting inserts himself, maybe to leave some overtones headed to the actual main event itself at the pay-per-view, where we're worried about outside interference, we're worried about other things. I don't know, but I do think at the end of the day, Darby Allin wins, maybe by what's the version of like a roll-up he uses that looks like a leg lock?
Oh, the Last Supper.
The Last Supper, thank you. I think that's going to be my
most
call.
Protected pin I've ever seen. No one kicks out of that.
No one kicks. It's kind of a cool move though. It looks like a knee bar, and it's I got to give him credit for a roll-up style pin. I respect it.
Yeah.
All right, who do you got in this one?
I'm I'm more leaning across to what you said, so I'm probably going for Darby for the win. I'm really shocked. I'm really surprised they're not doing like a fatal 4-way with this, or like some elimination type. Sorry, not fatal 4-way. Was it fatal 5-way? Would it be a fatal 5-way?
Yeah.
No, yeah, fatal 4-way. No, it's 3 of them, innit? Yeah, 4 pillars. Yeah. So yeah, fatal 4-way. I kind of I probably would do like a fatal 4-way, or maybe like I said, an elimination style type of fatal 4-way. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm cool with this one. See where they go, unless they do something where he's defeating a pillar every other month, if that makes sense, or not every pay-per-view, because I would just drag it a bit too long because you're not having a pay-per-view every month. Yeah. But yeah, I think more than likely something is going to happen. He's probably going to try and get into Darby Allin's head and probably try to do some interference. Sting comes out because they had a great promo the other week as well between Sting and MJF. So yeah, I think he might play a part in this. And then Darby Allin versus I think if anything, is probably the most vocal and probably most deserving out of the 4 pillars right now. So yeah, I think that'll be the best bet. Give him a main event. And because Darby Allin's been a team player for the longest of time. So yeah, I will give it to Darby Allin for the win, 100%.
Yeah, I think Darby makes the most sense for sure. I'm also wondering if, and I didn't mention this the first time around though, if Jungle Boy inserts himself into this somehow and maybe interferes on, let's say MJF comes in to doesn't want to face Darby-ish.
Yeah.
And then Jungle Boy evens the odds, and then the odds are unevened once again somehow, and then suddenly we get Sting. And everyone gets chased out, and then maybe we get Darby with the Last Supper, or we get Darby with a coffin drop. Not totally sure, but I think that would be my guess, right? It makes the most sense. I'm with you on the Fatal 4-Way. I do think it's interesting because we want it so bad.
Yeah.
I loved your idea of him beating one of each. I don't necessarily think you need to put MJF over that many times in a row.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to do the Fatal 4-Way following the Darby match.
Yeah.
And then not make it elimination style the first time.
Right.
And MJF should lose 5 different ways. And then next thing you know, he steals the win. And from there, right, you do the elimination style. And that's when you finally take it from him. That's when you run it back, maybe, for a series like that. I don't know. We're running low on time and we just got comments, so I didn't mean to toss a question to you like that, but
that's cool. Yeah,
we got Ruben Barber talking about Jade will lose the championship to Sasha Banks when she comes to AEW. Mercedes Moné. Miro, the new AEW International Champion, if he comes back. If not, who? I actually agree with that.
I want Miro. Miro should be the next person.
Miro is absolutely 100%. Yeah, she's right. Yeah. And then number 1 Superfly with, what they should do is MJF causes a double DQ between Darby and Sammy, and now he gets forced to face Jungle Boy, Sammy, and Darby. Hey, that's not bad.
Maybe not Jungle Boy because he didn't lose clean. He got clocked. So yeah, he probably won't lose. Wait, was it a count out?
I'm wondering if Jungle. Yeah, it was a count out.
It was a count out. Yeah. So yeah, maybe not Jungle Boy. Probably a triple threat. It makes sense. Don't just put Jungle Boy in it because sure he got cheated out of it, but yeah, I don't think you can run that back separately. But I'm cool with that.
And then we got 1 more minute from we got a question from Ruben Barber. If not Sasha, then who? And we'll finish with that really quickly.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bit tricky. That's what I'm saying. It's best to go for Serena Deeb or Britt Baker. Those are the 2 biggest champions, biggest challengers. Or maybe Thunder Rosa, but she's out of commission right now. So yeah, but not Sasha. I don't I'm not sold on Sasha. Sorry. Maybe not the line, but yeah.
Maybe one of the Outcasts.
I knew he was gonna say. I was thinking about Outcasts. Paige, if she was over hot when she came in, maybe. But now this whole Outcast thing has put a dark stain on her. I'm sorry. Go.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of another one besides maybe. I don't know. Yeah, she's kind of faced them all at this point. I think we're getting down to the nitty gritty as far as our choices are concerned.
100%.
Maybe somebody makes a name for themselves and crosses over in the next next half year. You never know with some
Yeah.
WWE cuts or something, but you don't want to speculate too much on that. Maybe Mandy Rose. Actually, that's my call. Mandy Rose. That's
Mandy
who does
Rose.
it. It's Mandy Rose. But with that, that's been today's daily broadcast. On behalf of me, Clark Taylor, Chaos. Go listen to Take It to the Table. The draft episode was sweet. Go listen to the episode before that. I was on it too. So listen to both. If you have time.
Next episode coming out soon as well. We're going to be ranking all of Roman Reigns' title defenses for the Universal Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So yeah, be sure to check that out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. And we will talk to you tomorrow, a little bit later in the afternoon, but from the same place. And thank you for having us.